If your job disappeared tomorrow, what would actually break? It's a simple question, but one that can feel deeply uncomfortable to answer honestly. For some people, the response is immediate and obvious. A surgeon, a pilot, a power grid technician can point to a tangible, critical outcome that their work directly prevents or enables. Their value is written in the clear language of saved lives, safe landings, cities with their lights on. Society understands, instinctively, that without them, something important and visible would shatter. For many others, however, the answer is not so clear. The line connecting daily tasks to a meaningful outcome can feel blurry, abstract, even non-existent. You attend meetings, you update spreadsheets, you answer emails, you contribute to reports that may or may not be read. The day is full, but the purpose feels hollow. This is the quiet anxiety of the modern economy, the nagging suspicion that entire professions are elaborate games of make-believe, a kind of corporate theater where the applause is a paycheck and the script is a series of meaningless key performance indicators. But here is where the real problem begins, and it's a much more subtle one. We live in an age that is rightfully cynical about bullshit jobs. Yet, in our rush to call out the absurd, we often make the opposite mistake. We assume that any job whose value isn't immediately obvious must be useless. We have become very good at spotting fake productivity, but dangerously bad at recognizing silent competence, the kind that doesn't make a sound. Modern economies are filled to the brim with jobs that look pointless for two completely different and opposing reasons. Some roles truly are just corporate pageantry. Others, however, only seem pointless because their primary function is invisible. You don't notice their contribution when they are doing their job correctly. You only notice it catastrophically when they fail. This video is not a defense of bureaucracy. It's a guide to telling the difference. The central challenge is that our brains are wired to respect what we can see. We admire the tangible, the person who builds the house, the person who delivers the package, the person who fixes the broken engine. A chef cooks a meal, and a plate is served. This is work as we have understood it for most of human history, and we have a deep, instinctual respect for its straightforward logic and visible impact. This bias for the visible makes us naturally skeptical of work that doesn't produce a thing. When a role's primary output isn't a new product but the absence of a problem, our intuition falters. How do you measure a disaster that didn't happen? How do you quantify the value of a crisis that was quietly averted? The success of these roles is silence. It's a smooth running system. It's a day where nothing goes wrong. Consider this critical distinction. Some of the most important jobs in our complex world don't produce obvious output. They produce fewer disasters. They are the editors who catch the catastrophic typo. They are the engineers who spot the hairline fracture before the bridge fails. They are the compliance officers who prevent the billion-dollar fine. Their victory is a non-event, a story that never has to be told. The purpose of this exploration is not to argue that every opaque office job is secretly vital. Far from it. Many are exactly as useless as they appear. Instead, the goal is to sharpen our thinking and provide a better framework for judgment. We need to move beyond the simple and often wrong equation of visibility with value. The most important question is not, what did you produce today? But a far more revealing one. If you weren't here, what would fall apart? The answers often reveal a hidden world of critical, silent work. Let's begin with the most misunderstood category of silent competence, the disaster preventers. These are the cybersecurity analysts, the quality assurance testers, the maintenance engineers, and the compliance officers. They are the sentinels standing guard against the forces of entropy, human error, and outright malice. Think of the quality assurance team for a new piece of medical software. They don't write the code that makes the device work. They spend their days trying to break it. They input absurd values. They click buttons in the wrong order, and they simulate every conceivable user error. But their job is to find the one fatal bug that could lead to a misdiagnosis or a treatment error. They are not creating a feature. They are eliminating a potential tragedy. Their success is the complete absence of a headline about a software glitch that cost someone their life. The same logic applies to the world of compliance. A competent compliance officer isn't just a box ticker. They are the person who understands the intricate web of regulations that govern an industry, be it finance, aviation, or pharmaceuticals. Their job is to prevent the company from making a billion-dollar mistake out of ignorance or arrogance. These roles are the embodiment of preventative medicine for an organization. They are a constant, low-level cost that ensures against a catastrophic, high-level failure. Their value is almost impossible to see on a day-to-day basis. Nothing dramatic happens. The servers don't get hacked. The bridge doesn't develop cracks. The bank doesn't violate international sanctions. This lack of drama is their key performance indicator. The disaster preventers are the unsung heroes of boring, stable, and successful operations. If disaster preventers are the guardians who stop things from blowing up, friction reducers are the choreographers who stop things from grinding to a halt. They are the logistics coordinators, the dispatchers, the competent executive assistants, the operations support specialists. Their job is to manage the flow of information, resources, and people, removing the bottlenecks and delays that would otherwise clog the entire system. Think of a busy hospital. The surgeons and the nurses are the visible heroes, performing life-saving procedures. But behind the scenes, a scheduler is orchestrating a complex ballet of operating rooms, staff availability, and patient needs. When this job is done well, the hospital runs like clockwork. Surgeons have the equipment they need. Patients move from prep to surgery to recovery seamlessly. Critical time is never wasted. The scheduler produces no medical care. But without them, the entire system would descend into chaos. They don't heal the patient. They create the conditions that make healing possible. Similarly, consider the role of a truly effective executive assistant. They anticipate conflicts before they happen, ensure their executive is prepared for every critical meeting, and act as a gatekeeper who protects their most valuable resource, their time and focus. They don't write the strategy, but they create the clear space required for strategic thinking to occur. A job can matter not because it creates the final output, but because it dramatically lowers the effort required for everyone else to create that output. Friction reducers are a force multiplier. Their success is a system that feels effortless, where things just seem to fall into place. Now we arrive at the most contentious category of all, the managers. We have all encountered the bad manager, the one who seems to exist only to create more work. They call meetings to discuss the agenda for future meetings. They invent new reporting requirements. They create complex dashboards. This kind of manager doesn't lead, they administrate. They are not a complexity coordinator, they are a complexity generator. But a useful manager, a true complexity coordinator, performs one of the most vital functions in any large organization. They reduce chaos. In any project involving more than a few people, confusion is the natural state. A good manager cuts through this fog. They clarify what truly matters, align the team around a single purpose, and ruthlessly eliminate the obstacles standing in their way. They are the buffer that absorbs the corporate noise, allowing the creators, builders, and problem solvers on their team to focus. A great manager ensures that every person on their team can answer two questions at all times. What is the most important thing for me to be working on right now, and why does it matter? This brings us to a sharp, defining question. The question is not whether someone manages people. The question is whether they reduce chaos or just document it. One is a scribe of the chaos, meticulously recording its every move. The other is a warrior against it, actively fighting to create order and focus. Beyond preventing physical disasters or logistical snarls, there is another category of silent work dedicated to protecting an organization's most fragile and valuable asset: trust. These are the trust protectors. They are the risk management teams, the in-house legal counsel, the financial controllers, and specialist review boards in highly regulated industries. Their work deals in the abstract but essential currency of credibility. Consider a financial institution. The traders and investment bankers are the visible engines of profit, making deals and generating revenue. But quietly in the background, financial control experts are meticulously verifying every transaction, ensuring compliance, and building models to assess hidden market risks. They don't generate the profit, but they ensure the entire edifice of profit is built on a foundation of integrity, not sand. These roles often seem like brakes on the system, slowing down deals and adding layers of review. This creates a natural tension. They know that removing the brakes on a car makes it go faster, but only until the first corner. The trust protectors are those brakes. They are not there to stop the car, but to allow it to navigate a complex and dangerous road at speed, safely. This is production through prevention. By preventing a potential future loss, they have generated more economic value than an entire team of salespeople might in a year. Not all value comes from making something new. Some of the greatest value comes from preventing the destruction of something old and precious. They are the architects of resilience. Finally, we arrive at the most counterintuitive category of valuable work, the resilience builders. These are the roles and systems that, on a normal day, look not just unnecessary, but actively wasteful. This is the world of redundancy, backup operations, support functions that only matter in rare, extreme edge cases. Efficient systems are not always resilient systems. An organization optimized to perfection is incredibly productive in a stable environment, but it is also incredibly fragile. When an unexpected shock hits, a supply chain disruption, a sudden demand spike, a power outage, the perfectly efficient system shatters. The resilience builders are the insurance policy against this fragility. They are the backup data center that sits idle 99.9% of the time. Redundancy looks wasteful right up until the moment it saves the system. The answer becomes obvious during a record-breaking heat wave, when that wasteful backup capacity is the only thing preventing a catastrophic citywide blackout. Their job is to prepare for a future that everyone hopes will never arrive. Their contribution isn't measured in daily productivity, but in the continued existence of the organization after a black swan event. They build institutional muscle that allows a system to take a punch, get back up, and keep functioning. So, we have established a crucial flaw in our thinking. Not every invisible job is valuable, and not every visible job is useful. Question 1. If this role vanished tomorrow, what would actually break? If the honest answer is nothing, the role lacks a core function. If projects would stall or major errors would go uncaught, it's a pillar of silent competence. Question 2. Does this role solve a real bottleneck, or just create process around one? A friction reducer clears the path. A process performer builds a toll booth. Question 3. Does it prevent costly mistakes, delays, or risk? This is the test of the trust protector and disaster preventer. Calculate the value of the crisis that didn't happen. Question 4. Would a competent, rational organization, starting from scratch, still need this function? Strip away historical baggage. Does it serve an essential, timeless purpose, or is it a ghost in the machine? Applying this framework requires a shift in perspective. Look beyond the job title. Focus instead on the function being performed. A senior vice president of strategic initiatives might sound important, but if they generate meetings but solve no actual problems, the title is just decoration. Conversely, a logistics assistant is a critical friction reducer, regardless of their title. The real danger is not just the existence of useless jobs. It's our collective inability to distinguish them from the silently essential ones. When we lay off the redundant resilience builder, we are systematically making our organization more fragile. A smart organization understands where its true value lies. That work is the invisible architecture of its success. The ultimate test of an organization's intelligence is not whether it has useless jobs, but whether it knows which ones they are. And more importantly, whether it knows which ones they are not. We began with a simple, provocative question and journeyed through the hidden architecture of the modern economy, uncovering the silent work that holds our complex systems together. The true distinction lies between fake productivity and silent competence. One is a loud, elaborate performance. The other is a quiet, often invisible effort. The modern workplace is a stage that hosts both. It has its share of corporate actors, but alongside them, working in the shadows, are the silent professionals. The greatest danger is our tendency to confuse them. This confusion leads to the catastrophic error of streamlining the quality assurance team, only to face a product recall that destroys customer trust. A bad system is blind to silent competence. A good system, in contrast, is designed to recognize quiet value. If this video made you think differently about what work actually contributes, subscribe. This channel is about understanding the systems shaping your money, your work, and your life. Recognizing that nuance is the first step toward building better systems, better companies, and more meaningful careers. So, I will leave you with this. What's a job people constantly underestimate, right up until the moment it disappears? Tell me in the comments below.